Hey, welcome guys. Welcome back to another segment of Let's Talk, where we answer questions you want to hear. This is Pastor Brent. I'm Kieran, and we had an amazing Easter service. Like off the
chain. God is blowing our walls off. It's such an amazing thing He's doing.
I was literally blown away by just all that God did and His faithfulness. And it brings me to this idea, and you shared about it, moments. The resurrection is a moment that changed everything and the shift the paradigm of what we know now. And so moments are super important. I know for me, I had moments that I can remember vividly when I got married.
Right.
The birth of my children, especially the first one, it was crazy. I was like, what is this little thing? When I got hired, he had a rise. Come on, somebody. But just there's moments that define me, define really where I'm at now. Because I know there are times in my life where I could have made a decision that could have changed really the trajectory of my life. And
moments can be good or bad, right?
And yeah, for sure.
Somebody's in jail right now for one moment of their life,
and
they chose to drive when they were drinking or whatever, you know.
Right, that's one just crazy. And so how do we? Let's talk about that for a moment, because I know you are a big proponent of creating moments. How do we create moments that can potentially change our lives?
Yeah. Well, there's some moments that are naturally created through life. So birthdays are moments.
Yeah.
Right. And so every year, what's your birthday?
July 22nd.
July
Remember
22nd.
That. I'm a size 10.
July 22nd is Kieran's birthday. So there's going to be a natural moment that revolves around that every year.
Right.
Isn't it kind of funny, though, that we celebrate every year of somebody's life, not every 10 months of somebody's life? Like, why do we celebrate that day instead of their, whatever day, the day they lost their first tooth or whatever? You celebrate that every year.
Right.
Isn't that a funny thing? We do that. Human nature is that we oftentimes create moments around sections of time. So you're more likely to start a diet or start a significant life change at the end of a decade going into the next start of a decade.
Wow.
So when you're in your late 20s and you're about to hit 30, because when you hit 30, you feel like that's a fresh start. But there's nothing magical about 30 or 40 or 50. But if there's decades, we're more likely to make big shifts leading into the decade because we feel like it's a new start. January 1st is a moment every year that people take fresh starts. Is there anything magical about January 1st? There's not a thing magical. In fact, if you didn't have a calendar, you would never even know it was January 1st, right? It is cool because of the Jesus aspect of January 1st, how we got that. It's another thought. But at the end of the day, it's just another date on the calendar. There's nothing magical about it, but yet people will set everything up to start something new and to be a new person starting this year. You know what I mean? So the diet starts January 1st, so the month before you eat like a pig and gain 20 pounds so that you can, you know what I mean?
Guilty.
Because you're gonna diet. So I think the key is, in my opinion, is that you create moments outside of those standard moments, right? So you have the ones that everybody has, but then you think through what are other opportunities to create moments. So when you came to work at Arise, we had decided this a long time before that, but we create moments for the first week of an employee.
Right.
So think about this, you guys who are watching, like when you started your job, there's a good chance you went in, sat down at your cubicle or your desk or whatever that job is. You went in, you sat down, somebody half-heartedly showed you what to do. You probably never talked to a boss. It was kind of like, get your job done, this is it. You fill out some HR paperwork, and you probably kind of sat there at first like, what do I do? I'm a little overwhelmed, like what's going on? Here's the problem with that. That is an incredible opportunity for the company to create a moment for you. So like in our church, and we keep getting better with this with each one, but when Josh Sanders is the last person that we hired, Pastor Josh, when Josh Sanders came onto our staff, his first day, when he walked and sat down on his desk, his favorite song was playing on his laptop that we had already pre-ordered for him, that he had already picked out, and we'd already ready to go. It's sitting there with his favorite song playing on it. His favorite breakfast cereal, because we asked that in advance, was already playing. There was something else there. I can't remember what all it was.
It was a book.
A book, yeah, one of his books that he wanted, a gift card, a small gift card, all this stuff, so that when he walks in his desk, you just created a moment that would not have been there normally, but should be there. And so you create that moment. And then in our case, we actually create a first week. So we have a whole initiation process, which everybody has to go through now, which is a blast. And that first day, you did it, Pastor Josh did it. That first day that they're with us, I take everybody and we create moments by going through the history of the church. I take you to the house the church was founded in, where they started prayer meetings, and then the Women's Center, and then Kings Avenue. And I tell you the story all the way up, our church story. because I want you to realize, and I want our employees to realize, you're part of something that's so much bigger than you and I. You know, one day if all of us are dead, this church needs to still be affecting the community and creating a better future and helping people experiencing God, helping people experience God. And so we create that moment. And so I would say the key is you create moments that might not be there but should be there.
Right.
A key, and this has been huge for us, we look at it this way, a key to know if you've succeeded is if people take pictures of it.
Right.
So if somebody's taking a picture of something, it means they either want that memory to last or they want to share that memory with everybody else in the world. Nowadays, because of social media, it's usually because I want to share it with the rest of the world. We don't share boring stuff usually. Well, some people do. They want to take pictures of their spaghetti or whatever. But in general, if you're taking a picture of something and sharing it, you're like, this is awesome. I want everybody else to see this. So you know you've created moments when people take pictures.
You know, and you're really good at this because I know you planned a 3-year trip for your wife to create an
I planned it in
amazing
3 years in advance.
Planned
A
it-
3-year trip would be really low.
Oh my God. But you spent 3
That's
years
quite the
planning
sabbatical.
a moment for
Yeah.
your wife, and because of that moment, it bettered your relationship. And I think that's super key. I'm personally in my life trying to create moments even throughout the week where I can just get along with God or get along with a friend or get work done. But I think it's super important to create moments.
So think of it this way. So you guys who are watching, and Pastor Kieran, you guys think about it this way. Think about the people that you love and you care about the most. Then think, what are the most significant days in their life and how do you commemorate that day? And don't think like just right this second. Think years in advance. How do I commemorate that day? How do I make that something they never forget? If you have kids, you have a tremendous opportunity to do rites of passage. So when Ty turned 13, and some of you watching this will know this, and it got turned into a book and all this, but when Ty turned 13, I had planned out a year in advance, well, some of it a year in advance. We went to Washington, D.C. I planned out every monument we were going to. He had no idea. He just knew this was his becoming a man trip. And so we went to Washington, D.C., went to all these monuments that I had strategically planned, and told him the story of these great men in these monuments, and then said, I charge you to be that kind of man. And in front of everybody in the mall in Washington and in the Smithsonian's and all the places we were at, I laid hands on him, I prayed for him in front of everybody, and I said, I charge you to be that kind of man. And then on top of that, I backed up and took pictures of it. Now, he had no clue what I was doing taking pictures. He just thought I was being a dad and taking pictures, right? I'm like, stand by this point and take a picture. But all of those stories that I told him, I had pre-written into a book months before, because again, you have to plan these things out. They don't just happen. So I pre-written into a book. Then I take those pictures that I took of him, put it into the book. So it's pictures of him with the story. And then we get back home a week or so later, whatever it was, a week later, we have his actual birthday party with all of his friends and all that kind of stuff. And in front of all of his friends, I present him that book, which is the stories we told, the charges I gave him, pictures of him with the monument. And it's something that, I hope that if he lives to be 90 years old, he still has that book. And he still has a part of his dad saying, this is what it means to be a man. But those things don't just happen. There are moments that we have to create, we have to take advantage of. And then the culminating of all that was in front of his friends and family at the actual birthday party. We do an Old Testament blessing where you basically prophesy over your kids, but not prophesy in the sense of like, I don't know, not in a vague way, but in a father way. I see this in you. I call it out of you.
Right.
Which is the way you see the blessings in the Old Testament where they laid hands on their sons and they called forth the things they see out of them and blessed them. And so we do the same thing with my boys at 13. Ty did it. We'll do it again at 18. I have a whole other trip that's been going around in my mind right now. He's 16, so I got it at this point a year and a half. As it goes around in my mind, I think 13 was the more important one,
Right.
because that's a huge moment. But 18 is another giant moment where you're an adult. You have different temptations, different things you're going to face now at 18 than you did at 13. And so how do we teach them? But A to turn to 40, that was a big one. A to turn 30, that was long before I ever knew you. But A to turn 30, that was a big one. 40 got even bigger. Plan these things out. Think about the people that you love, and then start thinking, how do I create moments around things that matter to them? And
I think that's super
husbands,
Listen.
your wife's heart through this.
Listen, I've already hit him up for certain things. And so, super practical. Start. Get a piece of paper out. Start planning some of these moments that you want to create for people that you love, and really watch them and your relationship grow. I think that's super cool, man.
If you want to take this further, there's a book called The Power of Moments. Can't remember who the author is off the top of my head. Great book. Read that book if you want to take this conversation further.
For sure. And another thing you can do is join us this weekend for a brand new series at the movies. I'm pretty geeked about it. It's going to be dope. I think there's going to be popcorn there and some costumes. I don't know, but more fun for you. We love you guys.
Aquaman, I believe, will be here. So all you ladies, that might be the greatest evangelistic tool that we do for the ladies of Brandon community. Aquaman.
Amazing.
May be here.
So there's no excuse. You got to be here. So we love y'all. Thanks for joining us for Let's Talk, where we answer questions you want to hear. See you next time. Peace.
See you.